Hey cleaning family, it's Carolina Rolano, your cleaning business mentor. And in today's video, we are going to talk about whether or not you should be renting an office for your cleaning business. So please be sure to stick around for the entire video. Welcome back, YouTube community. Thank you guys so much for the subscriptions, for all the love that you guys show on my videos. And of course, thank you for your suggestions on video topics. Now, today's video topic was actually a question from one of my YouTube subscribers, and I do apologize for not having a screenshot of that question. However, the question that was asked was whether or not this person should have a office, a physical location for their cleaning business. Now, for me, this question has like a couple of different layers to it and is a little bit of a loaded question because everybody's needs are going to be different, right? So I'm going to give you my opinion and what I think based on my experience in the cleaning industry and having an office and when I didn't have an office. So going back to when I first started my cleaning business, I was solo cleaning alongside my then partner and my sister. So my sister and I were cleaning. We lived under the same roof. And like many of us, I just kind of kept a closet or a designated area for our cleaning supplies. And that's probably what most of us or some of us do that are watching this video. So we had our supplies, which started off as a little closet in my dad's office. Then we ended up taking over the entire office space. Then we ended up moving our supplies to the garage. Now, at that point in our business, it was just me and her, so not an issue. Then we started to hire. We started to grow pretty quickly, as many of you know, in that first year. And we had to bring on employees, right? We had W-2 employees and we had to have access to the cleaning supplies. They needed to have access to the cleaning supplies. So we were having them come to our house. Now, at first, that really wasn't much of an issue because they were friends, they were family. But then later on, it did become an issue because we had disgruntled ex-employees showing up to our home. I'll never forget, we let go of somebody because she was doing a really bad job. And she like popped up at my house demanding her pay, even though she had to wait a week, right? So that was my first reason on as to why we needed an office. If you're in that situation, just know that I've been there and I'm sure thousands of other cleaning business owners have been there. So my first thought was I need an office, right? I need an office. I need somewhere to have these people come meet me at. Well, at that time, I had brought up the situation to my mentor and he said, do you really need an office or do you need somewhere to store your supplies? And I was so relieved to hear this answer because at the time, renting an office for me would have been expensive. I definitely could have afforded it, but I was trying to keep my costs low. And that's another thing that you have to consider. So what happened next was we ended up renting storage units. And the reason why we ended up renting storage units were because storage units cost far less than rent in an office in the state of New Jersey. I was so happy that he had brought that idea up to me and we went along with it. If you are a solo cleaner and you need somewhere to keep your supplies and you're not yet ready for an office, or maybe you're not a solo cleaner, maybe you have a team. You could have a big team, medium-sized team, but you don't want to have them coming to your house. Get a storage unit space. Now, the size of that unit is going to vary and depend on your needs. So I highly suggest, shopping around and getting some prices and also understanding the measurements of each of those units. So what we ended up doing was like building shelving, having all of our things there. It worked out great for years. This is, again, in the instance of wanting to save money and not having to rent out an entire office just for you to go work. Now, what I would say is a lot of factors go into it, like your needs and, of course, what you can afford. So if you're starting off in the beginning, I would suggest to try to keep your costs low. That way you can, profit more, be able to keep that money and reinvest it into the business with supplies and marketing and stuff like that. So if you don't physically need an office to go into, in the beginning, that's totally fine. You can make it work with a storage unit. Then you may be asking me, well, what if I want to have meetings with my team? Like, where are we supposed to meet at? Well, I used to meet at the storage unit. We would show up when their designated time was to start their day, and I would be there for that specific date, right? So I would be there, let's say 8 a.m. I would be at the storage unit, I'd bring coffee from Dunkin' Donuts around the corner, and we'd sit and powwow for 15 minutes and go over whatever the topic of the meeting was. So that's another way that you can kind of get away without having to rent an office. If you're worried about doing interviews and they are in person, I love doing video interviews, but if you want to have in-person interviews, then you can certainly go meet up at local Starbuckses. We used to work out of very fancy hotel lobbies because they had Wi-Fi. You can meet up at a local coffee shop. You can meet up just about any public area where it's quiet and you're able to have that conversation or that interview in not such of a loud space. So there are ways that you can avoid having to rent an office. Hey, cleaning family, if you guys are interested in having some one-on-one mentoring or one-on-one coaching with me, please be sure to check out my full website, www.cleaningbusinessmentor.com. There you will find a page to book a one-on-one consultation call with me, or head on over to my mentorship page where you will find monthly mentorship packages. Now, let's say you do happen to have the funds, you have the money saved, or you have a loan, or you just have the money to rent the office. I still would not really suggest going ahead and renting an office just because you have the money, unless you really need it, right? Again, it all depends on what you can afford and what your needs are at the time. So we ended up getting an office, which we're now filming in, and we had one prior to this. Actually, this is a larger office since we started to grow a little bit more, but we ended up getting an office. And the reason why we ended up getting an office was because we started to add on more equipment. So aside from all of the supplies that we had and everything that I was able to fit in there, we just kept increasing in sizing. We started off, I think, with like a 5x10, then a 15x10, then a 25x25, and we ended up, getting too large for this unit. So we ended up getting an office, which worked out really great for me because I have a garage where we were able to pull our vehicles into, like our vans, and load up all of our equipment. So it made sense for me to have an office, and I could afford it. So if that sounds like you, where, now you're having equipment and now you have vehicles and now you need the space, then if it makes sense financially, get yourself an office. But don't ever feel like you need to have an office to like be a legitimate business, right? I feel like a lot of people have that thought in their head, like, oh, well, if I have an office, if I have, that office space with the windows and the desk and the view, people are going to take me more seriously. Or, oh, I'm going to be like a legitimate business owner. And that is, that's crap, to be honest with you. You can have a business and run your business from anywhere for the most part, right? If you're not hands-on. But I'm just saying, like, with Wi-Fi, you can almost make anywhere a working space, which we've also learned through COVID. So don't think that you need to have an office to be legitimate or like seem bigger than you are, because really at the end of the day, it's an expense that's going to be coming out of your business expenses and something that you're going to be paying for. That's really where I stand with, whether or not you need an office. Again, it's, can you afford it? Are you bringing in enough money to pay for this office? Do you have enough business? And what are your actual necessities? Like, what do you need? Do you just need somewhere for your employees or subcontractors to go get their supplies from? Well, in that case, you can have one storage unit or you can have multiple units, right? There was a point in our business where we still had this office, but we also had storage units. And the reason why we had a combination of both at that time was because it made sense. My office is in South Jersey. We're down the shore. We do service this area, but we also service all the way up the coast of New Jersey, almost up to, I would say, about Hoboken. So for anyone that's, familiar with New Jersey, it's about a 45-hour ride down to my office. So to make it easier for my cleaning technicians, I just had multiple storage units in the cities that they were working out of or lived near to make it easy for them. So now we're down to just having the office because we do the subcontracting method, because I don't have to have these technicians come and meet me for any other reason. However, I do still have an office that I work out of. I do still keep my cleaning supplies in my storage area. I still have supplies and equipment in my garage area. But now I mostly use my office to do content creation, to do my coaching, to do my mentoring, and pretty much all the social media activity that you guys see. Again, when you think to yourself, do I need an office? Really really try to figure that out. Meaning, what issues are you facing that you feel like you need an office? Are there other alternatives? Are there other choices that you can make to solve your problem without having to get into a lease for a building? Especially right now, like real estate is not cheap, renting is cheap, buying is not cheap. If you can save yourself money, I'm all about that. Now, if you do really physically need an office, you need somewhere to keep your equipment, you need somewhere to meet your people, then go ahead and make that move, but make it with doing the proper research, right? Make sure it makes sense. Make sure you're getting a good deal. Make sure it has everything that you need so that you don't have to go get another office in a month or two. Make sure it has that laundry hookup if you need it. Make sure it has the parking that you're going to need. If you see your cleaning business growing and you see that you're going to need more space, also keep those factors in mind when deciding on renting an office space. And my next pro tip, and my last pro tip actually before we wrap this video up, is that if you are like one of those people who just don't want to work from home, but you also don't want to go to the Starbucks, then there are rental spaces, co-working spaces that you can find in your area. So people have office buildings, the whole 9 yards. It's really, really nice office buildings with multiple offices, private rooms, kitchenette. You pay per month. Okay. So I think that's also a really great idea if you're just somebody that can't get work done at home like myself, and you don't want to go ahead and rent an office, or you don't want to work out of a Starbucks or a local cafe. Definitely be sure to Google co-working spaces in your area. I hope you guys found this video educational and informational. We do have a video on my channel called Office Tour. If you guys are interested in seeing what my office actually looks like, you can go ahead and check that video out. And I will link it in the description of this one. Please be sure to hit that subscription button, smash that like button, and of course hit the notification button. That way you guys are notified each and every time I upload a new video. And please be sure to check out my members only subscription. There you will find a ton of member only videos. I go live with my members. We have a lot of perks, discounts from my website, and you get to know me a lot more in depth. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later.